Do that dance like Aphrodite, cause you mighty. You might be the chick that make me trick just slightly.
Hi, my name is Phil, and this is my blog, Spiritworld News. I started this blog to kind of get the word out there, to spread more truths about what is a psychic, what is a medium, what they go through trying to become what they are, and what it's like to be a psychic medium in today's world. I kind of had one of those years that made me question everything, wonder all my beliefs, basically. You know, I always found myself telling people God isn't doing this to you, or this is part of our journey, and then I found myself asking the same questions. God, why are you doing this to me? Why am I going through all these horrible things? It took me about 30 years to accept my abilities, and only in doing so, then I had the year from hell, and I kind of gave up doing readings. I went back to drinking again. I wasn't meditating anymore. And as I'm going through these things, I started to realize that these are the moments that define us in life. It's not the good times. The good times are easy. You just kind of roll with it and enjoy. But the hard times, the bad times are what define us, how we get through them, what we do when no one else is looking. And you know, I found myself slipping into my old ways, addiction, just being miserable, not a positive person, and now I'm trying to get back to where I was. I also found when I was getting into learning more about my psychic abilities and mediumship, there was tons of information out there, but there was no real direction. You know, there was no one to go to and say, hey, how do I do this? Or was this right? And the more I started to learn, I started to find out there isn't really a right way. It's more about trying and seeing what works for you. That's the thing that none of the books or the people really tell you, is you have to almost find your own way and go with your own guidance and find what works for you. There's so much information out there. There's tons and tons and tons of information. It's like, where do I begin? Who's right? Who's wrong? What feels right to you? When we learn to quiet our mind and follow our own guidance, we're kind of led to where we need to be anyways. So there isn't all that much point in having tons of anxiety about it. The thing is trying new things, putting yourself out there, and facing the anxiety of doing the readings and being open about that stuff. It's not always easy in today's world to be open about our spirituality or who we are in general. So that's the whole point of Spirit World News, to not only document myself, but other people who are coming up new on their spiritual paths, finding out that they're mediums or they're psychic, or that they haven't been crazy their whole entire life, the things that they were seeing were real. And everybody has a different way of accepting it and going about it, and that's what this is all about. We want to see everybody's perspective, because that's how we become more well-rounded. And that's also how we find ourselves. Sometimes people have some information that we need to know, and that's what it's all about. It's been a long road for me to get back to this point, to where I want to do readings again, and I want to get back into my spiritual subjects and my research and learning. To be completely honest, being a psychic medium was something that I never wanted. You know, even up until recently. It's not something that I want to do or wanted to be. It was something that was with me my whole entire life, and I ran from it. I ran as fast as I could. I used whatever I could, drugs, alcohol, anything that I could, to escape it and escape who I was. And, you know, only now, at 32 years old, am I starting to accept who I am and feeling like it's okay, because that's kind of the way that our world is set up. You know, you got to fit into a certain slot, fit into a certain standard, but that's not the truth. And that's what Spirit World News is about. Check us out, spiritworldnews.blogspot.com.
Somewhere in Aspen, girl, ain't nothing to the pain, ain't tricking if you got it, what you asking?